This is the Momentum Podcast.
Today, I wanted to check in on this subject that I've been thinking about a lot. It's a subject that I think as business owners, that much. Maybe we don't examine as much as we should as business owners. And that is that, I'll be honest with you. I'll be candid with you. As an entrepreneur, there is one time frame that I have wanted stuff done in for my entire career. Let's get real. That's not such a great background. There we go. So I've always wanted things done all at once and right away. Are you the same? Can you relate to this feeling of like, as soon as I have a vision for a project, I can't rest until it's done? And what happened in a lot of my career is that I would compress timelines. I would bring things forward. I would put more pressure on my team. I would say like, hey, this isn't fast enough. We need to do this faster. I wouldn't let the people on my team give me a lot of input. I would just say like, this is the date we need it by. And here's what would happen over and over again. And it took me forever to realize this in the present, but the more pressure I would put on my team, the more chance that there was some kind of an issue or some kind of a challenge or some kind of a frustration or some type of anxiety that was created.
I'm Alex Sharfin, and this is the Momentum Podcast, made for empire builders, game changers, trailblazers, shot takers, record breakers, world makers, and creators of all kinds. Those among us who can't turn it off and don't know why anyone would want to. We challenge complacency, destroy apathy, and we are obsessed with creating momentum so we can roll over bureaucracy and make our greatest contribution. Sure, we pay attention to their rules, but only so that we can bend them, break them, then rewrite them around our own will. We don't accept our destiny, we define it. We don't understand defeat because you only lose if you stop, and we don't know how. While the rest of the world strives for average and clings desperately to the status quo, we are the minority, the few, who are willing to hallucinate there could be a better future. And instead of just daydreaming of what could be, we endure the vulnerability and exposure it takes to make it real. We are the evolutionary hunters, clearly the most important people in the world, because entrepreneurs are the only source of consistent, positive human evolution, and we always will be.
Here's what would happen. My team and I would get together. We would all talk about how long would it take to get this project done? How long would it take to get this done? And we would get estimates from each person, and we would put together a project plan. And then like a crazy person, I would go and say, great, I've got all the information from my team. Now I'm going to compress it all and make it faster and push them harder. And then, bring it up every day and push even harder. And what would happen is I would break people and projects. And, I'm lucky, especially in those businesses, that those people stayed with me. I've always had the discipline of hiring true believers, of hiring people who believe in my cause, of hiring people who are excited about the company that I have, who are excited about what we're doing. And so they wouldn't leave necessarily, but when there's massive pressure on a project, you have massive problems. I look at the world today and this last year and a half of crisis that we've been in. And when you look at some of the projects that have been undertaken in this crisis, there has been, to say that there's been undue pressure on some of these projects, it's crazy. I mean, it's such an underestimation. When we look at like the big solution that has been created for the crisis that we're in, the solution that was just rolled out, as you look at the rollout of this solution, what you see is that in talking about this solution, there has been some commitments and promises made to the public. Like, hey, if you're willing to do this thing, things will get back to normal. If you're willing to do this thing, you don't have to cover your face anymore. If you're willing to do this thing, you can get back together with friends and family. If you're willing to do this thing, you're not going to transmit the virus to each other. And so that was the communication we got. That was very clear communication we got. I think I even heard something like 100% effective or something like that. And now what we're realizing is that this project that was undertaken, and what was the name? Like Warp Speed? Like in Star Trek, when they had to go so fast that like the wings almost fell off. I didn't really watch Star Trek, but that's what I'm assuming. They'd say, let's go to Warp Speed. And so Warp Speed is like faster than normal fast. It's like the fastest fast there is. And when you look at what's happened, we see, it doesn't matter what side of the argument you're on, there's been miscommunications and misinformation and challenges in the rollout. And why? Maybe, just maybe, it's because it was forced to go so fast that what happens? People stop examining all the potential solutions. They don't look at all the potential problems. They start cutting corners and skipping things and looking more at the deadline, that the value that they're really bringing to a project. And that creates challenges. And it, like I said, it doesn't matter what side of the argument you're on, whether this is a good thing or a bad thing. The reality is you have to acknowledge that there has been massive, massive challenges. And the challenges are so great that it's broken trust with a lot of the public. And here's what happened on my teams over and over again. We would get together, gain consensus, figure out the time frame for a project. I would come in and say, it has to go faster, it has to be faster, it has to happen before the election, it has to happen before January. Like, we heard all those things. And the more I would push, the more chance there was that maybe we had a completed project, but then there was massive challenges with it. Or maybe we would get to where we wanted to go, but then we were cleaning up our mess. And so here's a better way to do things. As an entrepreneur, I've learned this concept really through my wife, Katie, but through working with an amazing coach, Kylie Ryan, and through reading a lot about spirituality and navigating this world we live in. I've learned this concept of divine timing and divine order, that things happen when they need to happen. Things happen when they should. We can have the best of plans and they get interrupted. The interruptions are what we should pay attention to. And so now, here's how I navigate these situations with my team. We get together and we create consensus. I look at the deadline that they've laid out. I commit to that deadline and I say, you know what, I'm okay with this. If all of this happens by this deadline and it's done well, I'm excited, let's do this. Then I give my team the space they need to focus and connect and work with each other and accomplish a project. I step back so that I'm not applying undue pressure or manipulation or anxiety or anything like that. I give them the time and space that they need. And then here's what happens these days. Projects are completed at a very high quality level. The amount of issues that we have afterwards are minimal and they can be taken care of easily. And when we roll things out, they work. And in retrospect, and in the current state I'm in, if I look at all of the times that I push projects faster than they should have gone, and I look at all of the times that I allow my team to create the deadlines, and I look at the outcome, here's what I see consistently. On this side where I push things so fast, we might have gotten it done faster, but if you include all the corrections and repairs and frustrations and anxiety and everything else that it cost us, it wasn't worth it. And if I look at this side, where we were doing things according to the schedule that our team laid out and what we accomplished, when I look at the finish of those projects, they were done well, they succeeded, they worked, and everyone on the team was excited about it. So as entrepreneurs, we can regulate ourselves and give our team the ability to have the time and space they need to complete a project. And my hallucination is, if you give your team the time and space to complete a project, and you actually give them the deadlines they ask for, and you respect those deadlines and allow them to use them, you'll actually get things done in your company far faster. Compressing time and pushing people too hard breaks processes and people and projects. So give your team the time they need. Now, if you're looking for a system where you can have these discussions with your team, where you can understand deadlines, you can understand what they need, you can see everything all at once and understand what's going on, that's what we help entrepreneurs with. We have a system called the Business Cadence, where this cadence of planning and executing allows you to work with your team, make sure every team member is fully utilized, make sure everyone understands what outcome they're driving for, what you're measuring to see if they're successful, and what their individual responsibility is. It is game-changing for entrepreneurs. If you'd like to get more information about our systems and how we help entrepreneurs grow their business, do me a favor. Go to billionairecode.com and submit your information. You can set up a call with a member of my team, and we will explain the coaching programs we have, where we are helping entrepreneurs grow their businesses, plan the future and make it real, and stop doing everything themselves so they can make their greatest contribution. Go to billionairecode.com. I look forward to seeing you there, and thank you for being here today. Appreciate you.